you cut back on that box lunch and juice just once a week, that's an extra $6,000 for the month, which can be used for investments. Welcome to another video by the Crystal Group, and this is Financial Fridays. In this series, we'll cover essential financial tips that could help you carve your path to financial success. Today, we'll be discussing how to reduce unnecessary expenses and start investing with 6,000 Jamaican dollars monthly. Let's get into part 1, cutting unnecessary expenses. Step 1, track your spending. Tracking your spending means tracking every single thing that you spend on. This can go anywhere from a large purchase, like some furniture, or even a sweetie at the corner shop. Track everything. What I want you to do is for 2 weeks, write down everything you spend on, and not just only spend in the sense of spend, but for example, even the $100 or the $50 that you give to the windshield wiper on the road, write down everything. Track every single dollar. It may not seem like a lot, even what you're giving to people on the road, but in the long term, they do add up. And just to say, by telling you to track something like that, it's not anything against giving, because I personally give a lot, which is why I can tell you that it does add up to a lot over time, or even a single week or single month, depending on how much you give and how frequent. So track everything and just see where your money goes. Step 2, create a budget for your goals. Now, budgeting is something that I don't think anyone or the majority enjoys, but most of us, of course, have to do it. Unless you're really in a financial position where you don't have to think about money at all, you don't even need to work for a dollar, then I'd say budgeting is for you. What I'd want for you to do is create a budget, and for most people, the 50-30-20 rule could help a lot when it comes to budgeting. In the 50-30-20 rule, generally, 50% of your income goes towards your expenses, whilst 30% usually would go to wants and 20% to savings. But my advice to you is to look at what stage of life you're currently in. Are you a young person in your building stage that has a lot of financial goals to achieve over the next 5 to 10 years? If that's you, then I would suggest doing 30% to savings and investments and 20% to wants. If you're in a position where you would say that you're financially comfortable and you still just have a general savings goal, then I would suggest 50% to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings, unless you would choose to do otherwise. Of course, this general budgeting rule can be confusing for some people, like commission workers or just entrepreneurs who don't have a set income. So if you're someone like that, what I would suggest is evaluating your average income. What is your usual monthly average? And then think about this rule and apply it to that amount, because your average is what you would be living on just a regular day. Step 3, identify wants versus needs. Needs are things that you require on a monthly basis to survive, like utilities, mortgage or rent, as well as food. Wants would be the things that you don't need, but you would feel comfortable having on a monthly basis. Wants, for example, is the 40-inch bust-down wig or custom whip. While needs are a proper hairstyle, well, neat and presentable, along with a reliable car to get you from point A to point B. Once you've identified the difference, I want you to cut back on your wants where necessary. I would suggest at least 10 to 50% of a cut on your wants. For a rough example, in Jamaica, even just cutting back something as small as that box lunch every week with the juice that you get on the road instead of bringing your lunch, that on average in Jamaica would cost approximately $1,500 per box lunch plus juice. If you cut back on that box lunch and juice just once a week, that's an extra $6,000 for the month, which can be used for investments. If you aren't comfortable with the idea of cutting back and that's not something that interests you at all, well, my other suggestion would be, of course, growing your income, like I reviewed before in my previous video. Find ways to grow your income so that you can accommodate your wants and you won't have to deteriorate the current lifestyle that you live in order to do other things. But until you've actually found a way to earn more, you would need to cut back if you're planning on starting to live a proper financial life now. And I would hope that that is your goal, considering that you're watching this video. Until you start earning more, you could cut back. And then when you've seen that you're consistently earning more, then you can accommodate more of your wants. Simple. Now that you've freed up that extra cash by just cutting out your box food and juice once a week, let's see what you can do with an additional $6,000 monthly. Something to consider is that if you're only going to do $6,000 monthly, then you would need to allow yourself more time and patience to accumulate the wealth that you're aiming for. And by time, I mean years, above 5 years, if you're only doing $6,000 monthly. To start this investment, what you'd first need to do is choose a local broker or a financial advisor like myself, of course, to help you in setting this investment account up. A financial advisor will help you with the steps necessary to starting this investment, as well as setting it up for it to be an automatic deduction so you don't have to worry about it monthly, and you can ensure that you're consistent with your investment. And of course, this automatic deduction may come from your standing order through your bank, or a salary deduction through the company you work with, or a credit card pre-authorized payment. We're now at the end of this video, but for those of you who stuck around, I have a bonus tip. Reinvest your profits. Compound interest accelerates wealth by generating returns on both your initial investment and the earnings it accumulates. So let's say you made an investment of $100,000 and you gained a profit of 10%, moving your investment amount to $110,000. If this hasn't been cashed up by you and it is reinvested, compound interest would work by investing and returning profits on the $110,000 now instead of just the $100,000 initially invested. And a lot of companies in Jamaica automatically does this if you don't touch your investment. And of course, if you're interested in setting up an investment like this, I will be happy to assist you with this process. My contact details may be found in the description. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end, and I hope you enjoyed our first episode of Financial Fridays with the Crystal Group Wealth Solutions. See you in the next video.